Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first Fiscal Virtual TA session. My name is Amanda Burks, and I'm the Fiscal Administrative Assistant.
Hey everyone, I'm Nevin Epen. I'm the Grants Analyst.
We are having this TA to provide the updates to our Ryan White Fiscal Year 2021-2022 grants. Here are the objectives we'll be going over today. In the budget table outline, you will see 3 added forms from the previous grant year. We would touch base on the grant reimbursement process and how the funds will need to be spent monthly per grant. The MFR has a few changes that we will explain in detail on those slides later. And lastly, we will go over the detailed spending plan and explain this process. Here are the forms listed that you will complete for each funding source. We will provide these templates in an email after this TA is published. There are 3 additional forms this year: Table A1A for direct costs and Table A1B for indirect costs. And lastly, Table B1 for performance objective. With the fee-for-service category switching back to line item categories, these forms will need to be submitted for each of those categories. The next few slides, we will show those forms. Here is the table A1A. This form should look familiar. This will be completed for the line item categories, direct costs. We also listed the categories that switched back to line item categories here. Here is the table A1B. This form should also look familiar. This will be completed for the line item categories, indirect costs. Just a reminder, the total indirect costs cannot exceed 10% of the approved award for the service category. Again, we will list these categories that switched back. Here is the B1. We want to make sure we include the actual unit costs in the comment section. We place an arrow for you to reference. Now, Nevin will go over the grant reimbursement process.
For the FY 21-22 fiscal year, the GMD fiscal team is asking for the subrecipients to submit 2 budgets, one for Part A formula and one for Part A supplemental. MFRs should be billed to Part A formula first, and then when it is fully exhausted, start the billing for Part A supplemental. We will not accept any Part A supplemental MFRs until the Part A formula is completely done. Now let's move on to a few key points regarding the monthly MFRs. All MFRs are due on the 10th of every month. When submitting MFRs, please submit a PDF for each funding source. Please do not combine service categories for multiple grants into one PDFs. Also, agencies must submit a budget revision to prevent any units or award amounts going over the approved budget. The phone number of the agency staff in charge of the MFRs should be listed on the bottom of the MFR, not the company's number. We need to be able to call quickly if changes or corrections are needed. Lastly, if you need to make any changes to the MFR form, please contact the GMD fiscal team prior to making any changes. Here is the MFR with the new changes. As you can see, the orange arrow points to the extra lines added, which makes it easier to see the services with subcategories, example, mental health, substance abuse, and oral health. This allows us to see the total approved budget for that one service category. The yellow arrow references the area that shows the percentage expended for the service categories. Amanda will speak more on that later. A big change to the MFR is that the bottom section is now only for line item categories. Please make sure that if the MFR is a fee-for-service category, do not fill this section out. Just a reminder that the phone number of the agency staff in charge of the MFR should be listed in the bottom by the red arrow. Now, Amanda will discuss the process of the detailed spending plan.
Here we will go over the timeline on when the detailed spending plan is submitted. The county may reallocate funds from the category where combined expenditures and obligations are less than 45% as of the 6-month date, and if expenditures are less than 75 as the 9th month from the beginning of the funding year. The GMD fiscal team will monitor quarterly to verify the expenditures and obligations are being met. If an agency is not, then the agency is to submit the detailed spending plan for a written approval. Please reference section 21.09, timely expenditures, deobligation, reallocation of funding of awarded funding. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us at the emails listed. Also, if you would like an individual TA, please contact us via the GMD Fiscal email. This concludes our TA session today. Thank you for listening.